Hello and welcome to Global Book Guild. Today we're exploring a simple idea, so simple that most people ignore it. But this one idea has the power to completely transform your life. This is not just a book about habits. It is a story about how tiny daily actions quietly shape your future. It is about why some people succeed, while others with the same talent stay stuck. It is about the hidden system running your life every single day. If you love powerful book stories that can change your mindset, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Global Book Guild, and comment below which country you're watching from now. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that you don't rise to the level of your goals? You fall to the level of your systems. Let's begin. Let me tell you a story. Imagine two friends. Same age, same city, same college, same intelligence. Let's call them John and Michael. Both of them have big dreams, both want success, both want financial freedom, both want to build something meaningful. From the outside, they look identical, but their daily decisions, slightly different. Not dramatically different, not extreme, just small, almost invisible differences. John decides to read 10 pages every night before sleeping. Michael scrolls social media for just 10 minutes. John wakes up 30 minutes earlier to work on a skill. Michael hits snooze and says, "I'll start tomorrow." John chooses water instead of soda most days. Michael says, "It's just one drink, now pause." For a second, none of John's decisions look impressive. Nobody applauds him for reading 10 pages. Nobody gives him a trophy for waking up earlier. It's boring, it's ordinary, it's small. But life doesn't reward dramatic effort. Life rewards repeated effort. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years. After 1 year, John has read 18 books. His thinking is sharper, his communication is stronger, his knowledge has expanded. Michael, he watched thousands of short videos. He was entertained, but not transformed. The difference wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it wasn't opportunity, it was 1%. Just 1% better every single day. Now here's the mind-blowing truth. If you improve just 1% every day for 1 year, you don't become 365% better. You become 37 times better. That's not motivation, that's math. But here's the scary part. If you get 1% worse every day, skip learning, skip discipline, choose comfort over growth. After 1 year, you almost hit zero, not because of one massive failure, but because of small daily neglect. And this is where most people misunderstand success. We think success comes from a big breakthrough, a viral moment, a massive opportunity. But real success is invisible. It happens in silence. It happens when no one is watching, when you choose growth over comfort. Let me give you another powerful image. Imagine a plane taking off from London heading to New York. If the pilot changes direction by just 1 degree, just one tiny degree, plane won't land in New York. It will land hundreds of miles away. That's the power of small shifts. Your habits are your 1-degree shifts. Reading 10 pages, practicing for 20 minutes, saving a little money, exercising briefly. They look harmless. They look small, but over time, they completely change your destination. And here's the hardest truth. When you start improving 1% daily, you won't see results immediately. For weeks, nothing exciting happens. For months, no dramatic transformation. And this is where most people quit, because they expect instant results. But growth is quiet. It's like planting a seed. You water it daily. Day 1, nothing. Day 15, nothing. Day 40, still nothing. But beneath the soil, roots are growing, strength is building, foundation is forming. And then one day, it breaks through the surface. People say, wow, overnight success. But they never saw the daily 1% effort. Your current life is a reflection of your habits, not your dreams, not your goals, your habits. And the powerful part, you don't need a life revolution. You don't need extreme motivation. You just need a small shift, a 1% shift every single day. Because tiny improvements repeated consistently create unstoppable transformation. And that is where your new life begins. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you said, "This year will be different. From Monday, I'm starting fresh. From tomorrow, no excuses." It feels powerful in the moment. New Year's Eve, birthday, new month, new notebook, fresh start. You feel motivated, excited, unstoppable. But what happens after 10 days? The alarm rings at 5 a.m. You open one eye, your brain whispers, sleep 10 more minutes. You skip the workout. You promise yourself you'll go in the evening. Evening comes. You're tired. You say tomorrow for sure. And slowly, the fire fades. The goal remains, but the action disappears. Why does this happen? Are people lazy? Number. Are people incapable? Number. Then what's the problem? The problem is this. Most people focus on goals. Very few people focus on systems. Let me explain this in a simple but powerful way. Imagine two runners in a race. Both want to win. Both have the goal of finishing first, but one runner has a training system. He practices daily. He tracks his diet. He improves technique. He builds endurance slowly. The other runner, he just visualizes winning. He watches motivational videos. He says, I believe in myself. Now tell me honestly, who will win? The one with the system, because goals don't change your life. Systems do. Here's a brutal truth. Winners and losers often have the same goals. Every student wants good grades. Every entrepreneur wants profit. Every content creator wants viral videos. Every athlete wants gold medals. But only a few succeed. Why? Because having a goal is common. Having a system is rare. And here's something even deeper. When you achieve a goal, the excitement fades quickly. Imagine you say, I want to lose 10 kilograms. You work hard, you diet, you exercise. Finally, you lose 10 kilograms. You feel amazing, proud, confident. But then what? If you don't change your daily habits, the weight comes back because the system never changed. The identity never changed. The lifestyle never changed. Goals are temporary. Systems are permanent. And this is where most people fail. They treat success like an event, but success is a process. They chase motivation, but motivation is unreliable. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Read that again in your mind. You fall to the level of your systems. On days when you feel motivated, you might perform above average, but on normal days, you fall back to your routine, your default habits, your automatic behavior, and your habits are built by your system. Think about someone who says, I want to write a book. That's a goal. But if they don't create a system like write 300 words every morning, sit at the desk at 7 a.m. daily, turn off phone notifications, the book will never exist. Not because they lack talent, but because they lack a system. And here's the dangerous illusion. We believe setting big goals makes us serious, but sometimes big goals give us false satisfaction. You announce, I'm starting a business, I'm getting fit, I'm learning a new skill. People praise you. You feel good. But the daily boring work, that's where most people quit. Because real progress is repetitive. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's small daily discipline. And here's another reason people fail. They rely on willpower. Willpower is like a battery. It drains. After a long day at work, after stress, after decisions, your willpower is weak. If your success depends only on motivation, you will lose. But if your success depends on a system, you win automatically. Because systems reduce decisions. Systems remove friction. Systems make the right action easier. Let me give you a simple example. If healthy food is already prepared in your fridge, you'll eat healthy. If junk food is on your table, you'll eat junk, not because of personality, but because of environment. And your system controls your environment. So when people say, I don't have discipline, what they really mean is, I don't have the right system. And that's good news, because systems can be built slowly, intentionally, powerfully. So if you've ever failed before, it's not because you're weak. It's not because you're unlucky. It's not because you're incapable. It's because you focused on goals instead of building systems. And today, that changes. Now I want you to imagine something simple. You're sitting quietly, maybe on your bed, maybe at your desk. Your phone is lying next to you. Suddenly, it vibrates, just a small sound. A tiny notification. And before you even realize it, your hand moves. You pick it up, you unlock it, you check it. Maybe it wasn't important. Maybe it was just a random notification. But you still checked. Now think carefully. Did you consciously decide to do all that? Or did it just happen? That automatic behavior, that invisible pattern, is the habit loop. It is the silent system running your life every single day. And here's the powerful truth. Every habit you have, good or bad, follows the same four-step cycle. It always starts with a cue, a trigger, something that grabs your attention. Your alarm ringing in the morning, the smell of coffee, feeling bored, feeling stressed, seeing junk food on the table. These are cues, signals. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for these signals. Why? Because your brain loves efficiency. It doesn't want to think deeply every second. It wants shortcuts. So when it recognizes a familiar cue, it prepares for the next step automatically. After the cue comes the craving. And this part is very important. We don't crave habits, we crave feelings. When your phone vibrates, you don't crave the phone itself. You crave connection. You crave curiosity. You crave the possibility of something exciting. When you see chocolate, you don't crave chocolate. You crave pleasure. When you feel stressed, you don't crave smoking or scrolling. You crave relief. The craving is the emotional engine behind every habit. Without craving, there is no action. You don't randomly check your mailbox 20 times a day. Why? Because there's no emotional reward attached to it. But your phone, your brain has connected it with entertainment, validation, surprise. And once craving appears, the response follows. This is the action, the visible habit. You pick up the phone, you eat the snack, you open social media, you skip the workout. And here's something fascinating. Your response depends on two things: how motivated you feel and how easy the action is. If something feels hard, your brain resists it. If something feels easy, your brain repeats it. That's why bad habits often win. They are easy. They are fast. They give instant pleasure. While good habits, they require effort, preparation, energy, and your brain naturally chooses the path of least resistance. But the most powerful step comes at the end, the reward. After you scroll for 20 minutes, you feel entertained. After eating sugar, you feel a rush of pleasure. After avoiding work, you feel temporary comfort. Even if the reward lasts only seconds, your brain remembers it. It says, that felt good, let's do it again. And just like that, the loop is stored. Cue, craving, response, reward, again, and again, and again. Until one day you don't even think about it. It becomes automatic. It becomes your routine. It becomes your identity. You start saying things like, I'm just not a disciplined person. I'm addicted to my phone. I can't wake up early. But here's the truth. You're not your personality. You're repeating a loop. And loops can be redesigned. That's the empowering part. Imagine this instead. Your alarm rings. Instead of thinking about sleep, you think about progress. You stand up immediately. You make your bed. You feel proud. That pride is the reward. Now your brain connects waking up early with success. Or imagine this. After dinner, instead of opening social media, you open a book. You read just 5 pages. When you close the book, you feel accomplished. That feeling becomes the reward. The structure is the same. Only the behavior changes. The habit loop is neutral. It doesn't care whether you succeed or fail. It only repeats what you reward. Your life right now is a collection of loops running automatically. And the moment you understand this, you stop blaming yourself. You stop saying, I don't have willpower. Instead, you start asking, what cue is triggering this? What craving am I trying to satisfy? How can I make a better response easier? How can I make the reward satisfying? And suddenly, you're no longer unconscious. You're aware, and awareness is power. Because once you control the loop, you control the habit. And once you control your habits, you begin to control your life. Quietly, gradually, but permanently. And this is where real transformation begins. Now that you understand how the habit loop works, here comes the most powerful part. If every habit follows the same pattern, then that means habits are not random. They can be designed. Think about that for a moment. Designed, just like an architect designs a building. You can design your behavior. Most people try to change their habits by forcing themselves. They rely on motivation. They say things like, this time I'll be serious. This time I'll push harder. But willpower is fragile. It fades when you're tired. It disappears when you're stressed. It weakens when life gets busy. So instead of depending on motivation, you design your environment. Let me explain this in a simple way. Imagine you want to start reading every night. If your book is hidden inside a drawer and your phone is right next to your pillow, what will you choose? Of course, the phone. Not because you're lazy, but because it's visible, obvious, easy. Your brain always reacts to what it sees. Now imagine something different. Your phone is in another room, and your book is placed directly on your pillow. When you enter the room, what do you notice first? The book. Without thinking, you pick it up. That small design change changes behavior. This is powerful. If you want a good habit, make it obvious. If you want to break a bad habit, make it invisible. Remove junk food from your house. Keep healthy food visible. Hide distractions. Expose positive triggers. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Now let's go deeper. Even if something is visible, you still need to want it. Human beings repeat what feels attractive. If a habit feels boring, painful, or forced, you won't stick to it. That's why people quit the gym. They don't hate exercise. They hate how it feels in the beginning. But here's a smart trick. Pair something you need to do with something you enjoy. For example, only allow yourself to watch your favorite series while walking on the treadmill. Only listen to your favorite podcast while cleaning your room. Now the brain connects pleasure with productivity. Suddenly the habit feels less painful. It becomes attractive, and attraction creates consistency. But there's another hidden truth. We don't avoid good habits because they're hard. We avoid them because they feel overwhelming. When someone says, "I'll start working out for 1 hour daily," the brain panics. 1 hour feels heavy. So instead, reduce it. Make it so small that it feels almost too easy. Want to start reading? Read 1 page. Want to start exercising? Do 2 push-ups. Want to meditate? Sit quietly for 1 minute. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the point. When something feels easy, resistance disappears. And once you start, momentum builds. Nobody stops after 2 push-ups. Nobody reads only 1 page once they're focused. The hardest part of any habit is starting. So make starting effortless. And finally, there's one more key element most people ignore. Your brain repeats what feels rewarding. If a habit feels meaningless, it dies. If it feels satisfying, it survives. That's why tracking progress works so well. When you mark an X on a calendar after completing your habit, you feel accomplished. That small satisfaction matters. It tells your brain this action is important. Even something as simple as saying good job to yourself builds reinforcement. You don't need huge rewards. You need immediate satisfaction, because good habits often take time to show results. Exercise doesn't transform your body in 1 day. Reading doesn't make you smarter overnight. Saving money doesn't make you rich instantly. But if you create small moments of satisfaction, you bridge the gap between effort and results. And suddenly, habits don't feel like punishment. They feel like progress. So think about this carefully. Make good habits visible. Make them attractive. Make them easy. Make them satisfying. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're designing your behavior. And when you design your habits intentionally, you stop relying on motivation. You stop waiting for the perfect mood. You create a system that works even on your worst days. That's the real secret. Not intensity, not extreme discipline, but smart design. And once your environment supports your growth, success becomes natural, not forced. And that's when habits start working for you instead of against you. Now we are about to enter the deepest idea in this entire book. And this idea changes everything. Most people think habits are about results. Lose weight, earn money, build muscle, grow a channel. But that's surface level. Real change is not about what you achieve. It's about who you become. Let me explain this in a simple but powerful way. There are 3 levels of change in life. The first level is outcomes. This is what most people focus on. I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to earn 6 figures. I want 1 million subscribers. These are results. The second level is processes. This is about habits and systems. I will go to the gym daily. I will save money monthly. I will upload videos weekly. This is better, but there is a deeper level. The third level is identity. This is about belief. I am a healthy person. I am an investor. I am a creator. I am disciplined. Now here's the truth most people miss. Lasting change happens when you shift identity, not when you chase outcomes. Imagine someone who says, "I'm trying to quit smoking." They are still identifying as a smoker. They're just resisting it. Now imagine someone who says, "I don't smoke." Different energy, different belief, different identity. Every action you take is a vote. A vote for the type of person you believe you are. When you write 1 page, you cast a vote for becoming a writer. When you go to the gym, you cast a vote for becoming a healthy person. When you wake up early, you cast a vote for becoming disciplined. 1 vote won't change your identity, but thousands of votes will. This is powerful because it removes pressure. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change overnight. You just need to collect small votes daily. Let's make this real. Imagine a man named David. David wants to become fit. He has failed many times before. Crash diets, extreme workouts, quitting after 2 weeks. This time he does something different. Instead of saying, "I want abs," he says, "I am becoming someone who doesn't miss workouts." That's it. That's the identity. Now every day he asks himself 1 question. What would a healthy person do today? Not what is easiest, not what feels good right now, but what matches his identity. Healthy people don't skip workouts without reason. Healthy people choose water more often. Healthy people value sleep. So David starts making small aligned decisions, not perfectly, but consistently. And slowly, his actions reinforce his belief. His belief reinforces his actions, and a new identity forms. This is why habits are so powerful. They shape how you see yourself, and how you see yourself shapes your future. If you believe you are lazy, you will act lazy. If you believe you are bad at business, you will avoid opportunities. If you believe you are undisciplined, you will justify inconsistency. But here's the beautiful part. Identity is not fixed. It's built through repeated evidence. You are not born disciplined. You become disciplined by proving it to yourself. You are not born confident. You become confident by acting bravely repeatedly. And this changes how you approach goals. Instead of saying, I want to read 20 books this year, you say, I am becoming a reader. Instead of saying, I want to grow my YouTube channel, you say, I am a content creator. See the difference? One is external. The other is internal. And internal change lasts longer. Because when identity shifts, behavior becomes natural. A true reader doesn't need motivation to read. A true athlete doesn't debate workouts daily. A true entrepreneur naturally looks for opportunities. Their habits align with who they believe they are. So if you want to change your life, don't start with outcomes. Don't even start with habits. Start with identity. Ask yourself honestly, who do I want to become? Then ask, what would that person do today? And then do that small action. Cast that vote again and again. Because in the end, you don't get what you want. You get what you repeatedly do. And what you repeatedly do becomes who you are. And once you change who you are, everything else begins to change naturally. That is the real transformation. Now I want you to imagine an ice cube sitting on a table in a cold room. The temperature is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing happens. You increase the temperature to 26 degrees. Still nothing. 27 degrees. Nothing changes. Still just a solid block of ice. If someone walked into the room at that moment, they would say, this isn't working. They would think all that effort of increasing the temperature was useless. But then something interesting happens. The temperature reaches 32 degrees, and suddenly, the ice begins to melt. Now here's the powerful question. Did the ice change only at 32 degrees, or was it changing the entire time? The truth is, every single degree mattered. The work was happening beneath the surface. It just wasn't visible yet. This is exactly how progress works in your life. When you start a new habit, you expect visible results. You go to the gym for 2 weeks. You look in the mirror. Nothing dramatic. You start reading daily for a month. You don't feel like a genius yet. You upload videos for 3 months. Your channel barely grows. And this is the moment most people quit. Because they believe effort should produce immediate evidence. But real growth is delayed. It's silent. It's invisible in the beginning. There's a phase in every journey where you are building potential. You are laying bricks underground. But the world only notices when the building appears above the surface. Think about bamboo trees. For years after planting the seed, nothing visible happens. You water it. You protect it. You wait. Still nothing. But beneath the soil, the roots are expanding, spreading, strengthening. Then one day it shoots up rapidly. People say that grew fast, but it didn't grow fast. It was growing all along. This hidden phase is what James Clear calls the plateau of latent potential. It's the valley where effort feels unrewarded, where progress feels slow, where motivation weakens. And this is where most dreams die, because humans are emotional creatures. We want evidence. We want proof that what we're doing matters. But the problem is, results don't show up in a linear way. You expect steady improvement, like climbing a straight staircase. But real progress looks different. It looks flat, for a long time. Then suddenly, there's a breakthrough. That breakthrough is not luck. It's accumulated effort. Let's make this real. Imagine someone starting a business. For 1 year, barely any profit. 2nd year, small growth. 3rd year, still struggling. Then in year 4, everything explodes. From the outside, it looks like overnight success. But insiders know it was built through daily habits, through learning, through mistakes, through showing up when nothing seemed to move. The same applies to your health, your mindset, your skills, your finances. You don't see the impact of one workout. But after 200 workouts, you see transformation. You don't see the impact of reading 1 page. But after 500 pages, your thinking changes. You don't see the impact of saving $5. But after years of consistency, wealth builds. The dangerous part is this: if you judge your progress too early, you will quit too soon. You'll say, "This isn't working," but it is working. It's just not visible yet. Every small habit is like raising the temperature by 1 degree. You may still feel like ice, but melting point is coming. The breakthrough is closer than it appears. And here's something powerful to remember. Success is not about massive effort in one day. It's about not quitting during the invisible phase. Anyone can be motivated when results show. Very few can stay consistent when results hide. That's why discipline matters more than excitement. That's why systems matter more than emotions. If you keep showing up, if you keep improving 1%, if you keep casting votes for your identity, one day the results will appear, and when they do, people will say, "You're lucky." But you will know the truth. You were just patient during the plateau. You trusted the process when nothing seemed to move. You kept raising the temperature, degree by degree, and eventually, the ice melted, the breakthrough happened. Not suddenly at all, but inevitably. And that is the power of staying consistent when progress feels invisible. That is where champions are created. It's talk about the real enemy, not laziness, not lack of talent, not bad luck. The real enemy is instant gratification. We live in a world where everything is immediate. Hungry, order food in minutes. Bored, scroll endlessly. Lonely, open social media. Curious? Google it instantly. Our brains are being trained every single day to expect quick rewards. Fast pleasure, fast entertainment, fast results. But here's the problem. The most valuable things in life do not give immediate rewards. They give delayed rewards. And that's uncomfortable. Going to the gym doesn't feel amazing on day one. Saving money doesn't feel exciting in the beginning. Building a business feels stressful before it feels successful. Studying feels boring before it feels empowering. Good habits usually feel hard now and rewarding later. Bad habits feel rewarding now and painful later. Think about that carefully. Eating junk food feels good now. Regret comes later. Scrolling for hours feels relaxing now. Wasted time hits later. Skipping workouts feels comfortable now. Health problems appear later. The pain is always delayed. And human beings are wired to prioritize now. Your brain evolved to survive, not to build long-term success. Thousands of years ago, immediate rewards meant survival. If there was food, eat it now. If there was safety, take it now. Long-term planning wasn't as necessary. But today, success depends on thinking long-term. And that creates a battle inside you. Every single day. Imagine two versions of yourself. Present you and future you. Present you wants comfort. Future you wants growth. Present you want to sleep in. Future you wants discipline. Present you wants fast dopamine. Future you wants lasting success. And here's the harsh truth. Future you cannot speak. Only present you makes decisions. So every time you choose comfort over discipline, you are stealing from your future self. But every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are investing in your future self. Let's make this real. Imagine waking up early to exercise. The alarm rings. Your bed feels warm. Your body feels heavy. Your mind says, just 20 more minutes. That voice is instant gratification. It promises comfort right now. But if you wake up anyway, if you push through that small resistance, you feel something powerful afterward. Pride, confidence, momentum. That's delayed gratification. The reward isn't instant pleasure. Long-term self-respect, and self-respect is stronger than comfort. Here's another example. Imagine you're working on a big project. It's challenging. Your brain feels tired. You open your phone just for 5 minutes. One video becomes 10. 10 minutes become 40. That quick entertainment feels harmless. But slowly it rewires your brain. It lowers your focus. It trains you to escape discomfort instead of facing it. And here's what most people don't realize. Every time you choose instant gratification, you strengthen that habit. You make it easier next time. And every time you resist it, you strengthen discipline. You make it easier next time too. So it's not about one decision. It's about direction. Are your daily choices training you to be patient or training you to escape? Because habits shape your tolerance for discomfort. Successful people are not superhuman. They just have a higher tolerance for delayed rewards. They are willing to look foolish in the beginning. They are willing to work without applause. They are willing to invest years before seeing results. And that's rare. Very rare. Most people quit when results are slow. Most people choose easy over meaningful. Most people chase pleasure instead of purpose. But you don't have to be most people. You just have to remember this. Short-term pleasure often leads to long-term pain. Short-term discomfort often leads to long-term power. When you feel resistance, when you feel like quitting, when comfort is calling your name, ask yourself one simple question. What will make me proud tomorrow? Not what feels good now. What builds my future? Because every decision is a vote for discipline or a vote for distraction. And the life you build is simply the result of which side wins more often. So the next time you feel that urge, that pull toward the easy option, pause, take a breath, remember your future self, and choose wisely. Because greatness isn't built in moments of excitement. It's built in moments of resistance. When you choose growth over comfort, again and again and again, that is how habits shape destiny. And that is how ordinary people become extraordinary. Let me tell you something surprising. Success is not dramatic. It's not fireworks. It's not viral moments. It's not sudden breakthroughs. Success is boring. It's repetition. Quiet, consistent repetition. And some of the most powerful examples prove this. There was once a professional cycling team in Britain. For years, they were average. Not terrible, not great. Just ordinary. They had talented riders. They had funding. They had ambition. But they weren't champions. Then something changed. Instead of chasing massive transformation, the team decided to focus on tiny improvements. Just 1% better in every area. They improved the design of the seats slightly to make them more comfortable. They tested different massage gels to help muscle recovery. They adjusted the fabric of racing suits to reduce air resistance. They improved hand-washing techniques to prevent illness. None of these changes were dramatic. Individually they seemed insignificant, but together, they created momentum. Within a few years, that same team began winning. They dominated the Olympics. They won the Tour de France multiple times, from average to unstoppable, not because of one genius move, but because of hundreds of tiny 1% improvements. Now think about that. How often do we ignore small improvements because they seem too small? But small doesn't mean powerless. Small means sustainable. Here's another story. There was a man who wanted to get fit. He had failed many times before. Gym memberships wasted. New Year resolutions broken. Motivation faded. So this time he tried something different. He made a rule. Every day he would do just 2 push-ups. That's it. 2. It sounded ridiculous, even silly. But it was too small to skip. On busy days he did 2. On tired days he did 2. On stressful days he did 2. And something interesting happened. Most days after doing 2 push-ups he felt like doing more. 2 became 5. 5 became 10. But even on days he stopped at 2, he still won, because he showed up. Months passed. His body changed. His confidence grew. Not because he did extreme workouts, but because he built a daily identity. He became someone who doesn't miss workouts. Now think about writers. Many people dream of writing a book. Very few finish one. Why? Because they imagine writing for hours. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the perfect mood. But successful writers often follow a boring rule. 1 paragraph a day. That's it. Some days it's messy. Some days it's brilliant. But it exists. 1 paragraph becomes 1 page. 1 page becomes 10. 10 pages become a chapter. Chapters become a book. And from the outside people say, wow, you wrote a book. That's impressive. But behind that achievement was repetition. Daily, ordinary repetition. And here's the lesson hidden in all these stories. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Motivation is exciting, but it's unreliable. Repetition is dull, but it's powerful. You don't need to change your entire life today. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. and transform overnight. You need small habits, repeated daily. Because when you improve 1% in many areas, the results compound, just like money in a bank account, just like interest building silently. Tiny deposits, massive outcome. And here's the beautiful part. Small habits remove fear. 2 push-ups aren't scary. 1 paragraph isn't overwhelming. Reading 5 pages isn't exhausting. But these small actions build confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Momentum builds identity, and identity builds destiny. So if you ever feel stuck, if you ever feel behind, if you ever feel like success is too far away, remember this. Champions were built through repetition, not motivation. Small habits, repeated daily, quietly, relentlessly. And that is how ordinary actions create extraordinary lives. Now everything we've talked about sounds powerful, but knowledge without action changes nothing. So the real question is, how do you apply this starting today? Not next month, not next year, today. And here's the key. Don't try to change your whole life. That's the fastest way to fail. Instead, choose one habit. Just one. Not 5, not 10. One. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's saving money. Maybe it's working on your dream project. One habit. Now here comes the part that most people skip. Reduce it to 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. If you want to start running, your habit is not run 5 kilometers. Your habit is put on running shoes. If you want to start reading, your habit is not read 30 pages. Your habit is read 1 page. If you want to start meditating, your habit is not sit for 30 minutes. Your habit is sit quietly for 60 seconds. Why? Because starting is the hardest part. Once you start, momentum takes over. 2 minutes removes resistance. 2 minutes removes excuses. 2 minutes feels easy enough to repeat daily. And repetition is everything. Now take that tiny habit and attach it to something you already do. This is powerful. If you drink coffee every morning, read 1 page right after your first sip. If you brush your teeth every night, do 5 push-ups immediately after. If you turn on your laptop daily, write 1 paragraph before opening anything else. Attach new habits to existing routines. Your current habits become triggers for better habits. No extra thinking required. Now comes another powerful step. Track it. Not to impress anyone, not to post online, but to create proof for yourself. Mark an X on a calendar. Use a notebook. Use an app. Every day you complete the habit, mark it. You'll notice something interesting. You won't want to break the chain. That simple visual streak becomes motivating. It becomes satisfying. And satisfaction reinforces repetition. But here's the most important shift. Focus on identity. Instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, say, I am becoming someone who doesn't skip workouts. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, say, I am becoming a writer. Instead of saying, I want to get rich, say, I am becoming someone who manages money wisely. Feel the difference. One sounds like pressure. The other sounds like transformation. When you focus on identity, you remove urgency. You remove desperation. You focus on becoming, and becoming is a process. There will be days you miss. That's normal. You are human. The goal is not perfection. The goal is never missing twice. Miss once? Fine. Miss twice. That's the beginning of a new habit in the wrong direction. So protect the pattern. Even if you're tired, even if you're busy, even if you feel unmotivated. Do the 2-minute version. Keep the identity alive, because small actions done daily create confidence. Confidence builds self-trust. And self-trust changes everything. Imagine 1 year from today. If you read 1 page daily, that's 365 pages. That's multiple books. If you write 1 paragraph daily, that's a full manuscript. If you invest a small amount daily, that's real money. The future version of you is built quietly in these tiny moments, not in dramatic decisions, not in emotional promises, but in daily repetition. So don't leave this video inspired and do nothing. Choose your one habit, shrink it to 2 minutes, attach it to a routine, track it daily, and focus on identity, because your new life doesn't begin with a massive action. It begins with a tiny one, done consistently, starting today. And that small decision might be the one that changes everything. Take a moment, pause, and really look at your life right now, your body, your energy levels, your confidence, your income, your knowledge, your skills, your friendships, your relationships, the way you think, the way you react, the way you spend your time. None of it happened by accident. None of it appeared overnight. And none of it was decided in one single dramatic moment. It was built, slowly, quietly, daily. Your current life is a reflection of your habits, not luck, not destiny, not talent alone. Habits, the small things you repeated, the choices you made when no one was watching, the actions you took when it was easier not to. Every late night scroll, every skipped workout, every saved dollar, every extra page read, every uncomfortable conversation, every moment of discipline, they all added up, brick by brick, day by day. And here's the most powerful part of this entire message. If your current life was built by habits, then your future can be rebuilt the same way. You are not stuck. You are not fixed. You are not trapped by your past decisions. Because habits are not permanent. They are patterns. And patterns can be changed, not in one day, but one day at a time. You don't need a dramatic transformation. You don't need to wake up tomorrow as a completely different person. You just need to improve slightly, just 1%. Today, and then again tomorrow. Think about this. If you change nothing, If you keep repeating the same habits, where will you be 5 years from now? Probably in the same place, maybe slightly worse. But if you change one small habit today, and protect it, and repeat it, where could you be in 5 years? Stronger, smarter, healthier, wealthier, more confident, more disciplined, more fulfilled. The gap between those two futures is not luck. It's daily choice. It's the small invisible decisions. It's what you do when motivation fades. Your life is not built in giant leaps. It's built into daily routines, in mornings, in evenings, in ordinary moments. And most people underestimate the power of ordinary days. But ordinary days, repeated consistently, create extraordinary lives. So starting today, be intentional, be patient, be consistent. Don't chase massive change. Protect small habits, because small habits shape identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes results, and results shape your life. You are one habit away from a different future, not because it changes everything instantly, but because it changes your direction. And direction determines destination. So choose wisely. Choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose the version of yourself you want to become, one small action at a time. And remember, your life is not built in one day, but it is built every single day. Make today count.